Hello, this is Jason P. Wilson 01X Force, and this is my video response to Ziploc Gory's new video discussion, which is favorite female characters of the week. I'd like to go ahead and start off by saying I think that this is a great idea. I think female characters in comics and female characters in general, they don't get the credit that they deserve. I feel they are underestimated, and they're not allowed to shine like they can. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, male characters do get the credit they're due, and female characters do not. So I think this is a great new discussion of the week that Ziploc Gory is doing. I'd also like to say that at first my video response was going to be about two. I was going to do one DC and one Marvel. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, okay, I think Ziploc Gory's reason for this was to really just focus on one at a time. So with that, I would like to say my first female character of the week, and that is Stephanie Brown, the current Batgirl. The reason I really do love Stephanie Brown, and I think she is not only one of my favorite female characters, but one of my favorite characters, period. And it really has to do with her personality. It has to do with how no matter who's writing her, that her personality shines through. I mean, her character has been through a lot, and she has always, she's been Robin, she's been Spoiler, she's tried to be just a normal, teenage girl, now in college. But it always comes down to what's in her heart, and her heart is being who she is, and that is Batgirl. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there who aren't sure about her yet, and that's mainly because everyone really loved Cassandra Cain, the last Batgirl. And we all love Barbara Gordon, and she will always be the Batgirl. But a lot of people took on Cassandra, who had a really long run as Batgirl, and they really loved her. I mean, Cassandra was a badass. I mean, she was basically Bruce Wayne as a female. She was an efficient, fighting, cutthroat, killing machine. And she's basically who Damian Wayne is now, except for probably better. I mean, Damian Wayne will eventually be better, I think, than even Cassandra, but she was basically, the badass Batgirl that a lot of people wanted. Even her costume was very intimidating. I mean, she was a little teeny Asian girl, but she fought like a 300-pound man. She took people out, and people really loved her for that, and she was a beloved character, and she is. And when she quit and she basically gave the mantle to Stephanie Brown, a lot of people were like not really liking that too much. But let me argue that point by saying that and reminding people that Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown were extremely close for a very long time. Even back when Stephanie Brown was Robin, her and Cassandra Cain, they were just they're opposites, and because of that, they really connected, and they really balanced each other out. And all the stories that they were written about them, and there are a lot of them. Even when she was Robin, when she was Spoiler, and when even when she was just being a teenage girl, their paths would always end up crossing, and whenever they did, they always would just fit together like puzzle pieces. And it was something that I think I really liked. I mean, most people who read Batgirl didn't even get some of the stories of them because they were in like different books. But I ended up reading most of them, if not all of them, and every writer, no matter who it was, they really got this really great friendship between the two, and how because they were basically Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson. I mean, that was their personality, and that's how they connected. I mean, Stephanie Brown was Dick Grayson's White Knight to Cassandra Cain's Bruce Wayne's Dark Knight, and that is how they fit. And it even worked better because they worked as equals. There was no sidekicks. They both were equals. So when Cassandra, ended up quitting being Batgirl, mainly because, she thought Bruce Wayne was dead, and Bruce Wayne was really the only one that was keeping her there. He respected Bruce. She respected Bruce Wayne so much that he was the reason why she was Batgirl. And when he died, or everyone thought he was dead, she had no reason to stay. So when she quit, she naturally threw the mantle to Stephanie Brown. Now, Stephanie Brown, who had been there for her time and time again, was a natural choice and the only choice to her. Everyone else, even in the actual Batman universe, they really didn't give her the respect that I always felt, and I think the writers always felt she deserved, and I know Cassandra did. Because I think Cassandra knew the Stephanie Brown that no one else knew. Maybe Bruce, but no one else truly knew. And there were people like, Dick Grayson and Tim Drake especially, who just did not want her to be doing vigilante moonlighting anymore at all. In fact, Tim got really, really mad at her, quite a few times. Now, she was killed at one point. That's a little complicated. I won't get into that, but she ended up not being dead and everything. She was alive again. Came back as spoiler, but she was always underestimated, even when she was doing all these things for Bruce Wayne and teaming up with Tim and Dick. The only person that really saw the potential that she had was Cassandra. I mean, Bruce Wayne as well too, but it was really Cassandra that really saw that she was an equal. So when she took over Batgirl, she was really reluctant. She was trying to get back to her life. She made a lot of promises to her family, mainly her mother, that she wouldn't be doing that anymore. And she had Cassandra's uniform, and she kind of just threw it in the closet for a while. But she eventually started doing a little moonlighting. At first, it was just once or twice, but the more she did it, the more she realized who she was, and that was Batgirl. Now, I did like how she first was wearing the full-on Cassandra costume. So as she does more moonlighting as Batgirl, she changes the uniform a bit. She actually shows her mouth, and instead of it covering her mouth, excuse me, and she basically eventually is approached by Oracle, Barbara Gordon, who's really PO'd about all this, because basically Dick Grayson calls her up and wants her to intervene. Now, she first kind of threatens Stephanie and is like, "Hey, look, you can't do this. Look what happened last time." But eventually, she ends up mentoring Stephanie. Now, for me, I really enjoyed the relationship between them, and it really made the comic for me. And anyone who hasn't read it should pick up the first trade, which is called Batgirl Rising, and it really gives you an idea of who she is. It even gives you a little bit of backstory. But the relationship between Barbara Gordon and Stephanie Brown is one of the reasons why it really works. And it also shows you why Stephanie Brown is a great Batgirl. Now, she's, you know, obviously Tim Drake does not want her to be Batgirl, and has said so. And no one really gives her respect. Damian definitely does not respect her. Thinks she fights like a girl. But she has, she's shown him wrong as of late. And again, she is not Cassandra Cain, and she's not Barbara Gordon. She's Stephanie Brown. And if you ask me, I think she's the combination of the best things about Cassandra Cain and Barbara Gordon. She's a combination of both of them in one. She's very feminine, like Barbara Gordon was, but very capable, like Barbara Gordon was. At the same time, because she's fought with Cassandra for such a long time, she really does have that grittiness that Cassandra does. So she ends up, making her new uniform, which I think is the best Batgirl uniform. Again, it's the combination between Cassandra Cain's uniform and the classic Barbara Gordon Batgirl uniform, with the exception that it seems to be much more functional than either of the two were before. I mean, she has more belt, utility belts, and the function of the suit, it's like made to do the things that you like the current Bruce Wayne Batman uniform it does. It's made by Barbara Gordon, so it's designed extremely efficiently for what it's for, and that is to be a vigilante street fighter. She has proven herself with classic villains and some new villains. They definitely give her the Batman Rogue Gallery. She fought Clayface and Man-Bat and quite a few others. But then they give her some other villains that are pretty much hers now. And they do some really cool team-ups. For instance, they team her up with Supergirl, both in her comic and in Supergirl's comic. And they're really developing a really cool relationship between the two. And I think a lot of people didn't respect her immediately, Stephanie, because she was blonde. And, I think for some reason, blonde superheroes, like even Supergirl, they're for some reason underestimated. I guess it's the whole, if you're blonde, I can't take you seriously, I suppose. I think it fits her personality perfectly, her being a blonde. Where her relationship with Cassandra was one way, her relationship with Supergirl is another way, because they both have a lot in common. They both are very similar. Now, currently the series, the Batgirl series, it's great, and it has been consistently great. I've read it from the beginning, and I cannot think of one issue that was not very good. And I recommend everyone to read it from the beginning, but at the very least pick up the trade of the first 6. And maybe, right now that they're starting a new story arc, so it's a great time to pick up this comic. So that is my favorite female character of the week, and she will always be one of my favorite characters, period. And again, if you don't know much about her, there are a lot of great comics out there that you can get to know her. But I recommend you picking up the trade, Batgirl Rising, and you currently start picking up the Batgirl comics. It's a great time to jump on. And with that, I would like to thank Ziploc Gory for this new video discussion, and I'm looking forward to next week. Thanks for watching.